Grüezi meine Freunde, this is Enzo Eigen of the Alliance for Loki. This is Season 18, War number 3 against this alliance. It's an alliance we haven't played much, and the war rating is much lower than ours, so it'll be an interesting fight. I feel like now we're Kenobi and they are for Loki, so we just played, of course, the hardest alliance in the realm, and they crushed us, and now we're hoping to do the same against this poor alliance who has to face us. Their defense is pretty interesting. They really obviously are not caring about diversity, so there's lots of dooms. I think we counted 6 dooms on this map and a lot of hard defenders. It's flow as usual, so a lot of control defenders, of course, and just a really strong defensive placement. So even though they probably are trying their best just to get the win any way possible, I mean, still hard fights for us. Lots of just challenging defenders. So I'm on path 7 this war, a little bit of a change, and this first fight I do my scouting, and it turns out it's Havok. And so I faced Havok a couple of times here. Bringing in Guillotine, of course, because she is the perfect anti-control character, and she works really well because she doesn't crit. So, I'm always having to watch out for the Bane. Bane's on this node as part of the link that's set up, so either I have to take a link or Path 8 has to take a link. So I always take this first one link. You see here, I couldn't quite get off the Bane that quick, but it doesn't do too much damage, luckily. And then I'm just back to fighting against him. Last time I played him, I got caught by an SP3 because I forgot about his power gain. So I pushed him up to an SP2, and then he gradually gains power, and I forgot about that. This time, I'm sort of in the same predicament where he's gaining power. I'm getting close to my SP3 is getting close to his, so he's at 10%. I decided to go for it, and then at the last second I remember, throw my SP3, because if you can finish the fight with the SP3, that gives you those extra 100 combo, which just really helps your damage. Your damage ramps up through sort of the extra, I don't know if extra fury or damage modifier, but above 100 combo, you start doing a lot of damage as your combo builds. So the fight went well. Again, it's a real defender and a hard fight. So now I have to wait for my path mid. There's Wally right below me. He clears out 8, so he takes the first one unlinked, takes the second one linked. I believe both his fights are with Archangel, and then after he clears those, it's up to me. And so again, I scout again. It's a Warlock, so another control champion, so it means Guillotine goes in again. This fight isn't too bad. It does have the protection shielding on, which means that after every 10 hits, his next hit is unblockable. And sometimes I have problems playing around this just because, here I could have tried to dex, but I didn't, so now the blockable count is up to 5 already, so it's easy to, just take a hit from the unblockable portion of one of his attacks, especially if it's a difficult to evade special attack. But I do get him to his SP2, which of course is much better, and he luckily throws it very quick, and now everything's going really well. And you can see all the extra damage I do for my 100 combo, and look at those big red numbers, actually the small red numbers, but almost 1,000 points per hit of extra damage. So at 8%, I throw my SP3 because, again, I just want to build up my combo for the next fight. So I start off with 100, such a great advantage, and I do it. So the fight went really well, so I was happy. Section 1 went down, and my alliance mates, Dreamin and Wally, did a great job clearing their paths, and so we were all set. Dreamin nearly had difficulty against that node 18 because he thought he might disconnect, but luckily it worked. So here I am against path 7 again. This is node 32, and so I wasn't too sure about who was on this path, and so it was either Emma or Elsa. So I decided to go ahead and put back on one of the scouting lenses. So I go ahead and put on the skill scouting lens, and you can see how skill pops up, and so I know it's definitely Elsa. And I just wanted to do that just to be extra sure, because for me it's always a little bit unnerving not to know your opponent, and if I don't know which one I'm facing, it means at the last second I sort of have to decide my playstyle. So this is against Elsa, power start 1, nothing too extraordinary. I take both these fights with the link on, and I'm just trying to play her normal. I'd rather dodge her SP2 just because it has, or her SP1 just because it has a more dodgeable second part there, but I go ahead and block them all. The reason I'm blocking is just to keep the spores up, because the closer she is to me, the more spores she gets. I make a huge mistake there. I parried her, but I didn't see if I parried her or not, so I sort of waited. to throw my heavy, and then as I threw my heavy, it was too late. She was out of the parry stun and counteracted with her SP1, and I definitely took a good bit of damage, but other than that, the fight was more or less under control, and I was victorious. So I remember having so much trouble with Elsa. But now I've gotten pretty used to fighting her. I see her a lot somewhere on this path 7, usually on one of these 2 nodes. And so my next path, again, I have to redo my masteries, of course, just get the scouting lens on, just so now I can actually see who it is. A little bit annoying. I mean, it only costs 20 units, so the unit cost isn't bad. It's more just the annoyance of having to change them back and forth. Go in, do the scouting, figure out who it is, and I find out it's Magic. You know, again, the Link node actually is really easy in this one, so it almost doesn't matter, but with Magic, I mean with Quake it shouldn't matter at all, because she gets basically different bonuses as she gains power, but with Quake she shouldn't gain much power if I play her right. So I'm always a little hesitant about using Quake style, so one of the problems is trying to decide whether I'm going like Quake parry or Quake evade, and so I sort of do both. So I start off with Quake evade, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try some Quake parry. It's going okay, get this, throw her away with a heavy just to get out of the way. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident now until then. I miss the parry, get hit, and I go back to evade, sort of freak out a little bit and panic, get hit again, and now I'm like, oh boy, I go right back to evade. She catches with the end of the heavy. I'm a little bit worried. I look up the timer, see there's only a few seconds left until the aftershock hits, and then luckily I'm able to finish her off with the SP3, so pretty lucky I survived that fight. You know, it's just takes nerves of steel to play Quake, because you know you have to be so calm and collected, and definitely I panic when I start doing poorly, and that does not make things go well with Quake. But that's the end of my war. So I had those 4 fights. Happy I did them all. Still deathless for the season. It's nice to have a little bit different path than path 9, and so just a little change of pace. But I'm basically always 7 or 9. It's almost exclusively when I run. And yeah, we got the victory. The other team, you know, they fought valiantly. Of course, they were up against us, who was much more highly rated with a huge defense, and I thought their effort was incredible. They did well, and we came away with a victory, which means we are now 2-1 for the season. So off to a good start, and we'll see what the next war brings. So look forward to seeing you then. This is Enzo Eigen, the Lions for Loki, wishing you a good day. Tschüss!